Massachusetts and speak to Rami Khouri. He is a distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut. Always good to see you, Rami. The main suspect has a Latino name. If it had been a Muslim name, if it had been a Palestinian, many people would have understood the connection. But the fact that there's a Latino shows the breadth of anger. The Irish Prime Minister was talking about how the world is disgusted about what Israel is doing in Gaza.
You know, that's fascinating, but not really super important. There's people all over the world, in India and Ireland and the US, everywhere in Brazil, who are angry at what the Israelis are doing with their genocide, asking to boycott them, etc., etc. And you have people all over the world who are sympathetic to Israel, wanting to help the Palestinians. There is nothing that we can extrapolate from an individual action by somebody like Elias Rodriguez or the tragic death of Sarah and Yaron, who are going to get engaged. These are not actors in a war. These are collateral damage on both sides, and there's other innocent people who get killed in these kinds of actions. The critical thing is to keep reminding ourselves that these kind of events only happen because of the bigger conflict and the bigger atrocities. And the biggest atrocity now in the whole world is the Israeli genocide, which is supported by the US and European countries, which happens because of that Western support. So there has to be movement to stop the genocide, stop the starvation. 29 people starved to death in the last 24 hours in Gaza, mostly children, 29. And so the bigger picture has to always come back to the arena where people try to use politics, diplomacy, media, whatever, to stop this kind of tragic event. And as you said, ironically, the meeting was talking about trying to provide more humanitarian aid. We don't know what that means exactly, but let's assume the best, that they really were trying to get some more humanitarian aid and to get all kinds of people involved in doing this, which is what should happen. But these are tangential issues. They shouldn't take the centerpiece of the discussion, which has to focus on the events that drive people to engage in these kinds of acts.
Yes, you're quite right. Every violent death is a tragedy. But in terms of the bigger picture, how shocked are you that there's an inability from the international community? Rami, we've been asking this question for months and months and months. And now we see many long-standing allies of Israel start to speak in a language that's gone almost beyond the normal diplomacy, with European countries threatening Israel with sanctions. And I suppose what you're going to say to me, the guy who can sort it all out is sitting in the White House. That's been pretty much the only hope that the Palestinians in Gaza have.
If that's the case, then we're all in deep trouble, because not sure he's the only one who can do this. There are other tragedies in the world that were resolved by collective popular and political national action. South Africa, Northern Ireland, Vietnam, all kinds of conflicts around the world that were resolved by decent people from all walks of life and all religions, mobilizing together for the essential element that's missing in Palestine, which is justice. Justice is what brings about peace. If you have justice for the Palestinians and the Israelis, which the Arabs are offering and have been offering for 20 years now, two states living peacefully side by side, if there's justice, there will be peace. The political heavyweights in the world, North in Europe, North America, and elsewhere, have really been on the sidelines. They've raised the volume in the last 10 days of their protests and what they're saying, which is a good sign, but it's still only rhetoric. And people really are looking for action. And the great puzzle of this whole situation is, why is it that one country like Israel can exert so much influence on the policies of Western countries to the point where the Western states, by and large, either acquiesce in the genocide or actively are accomplices in letting it happen? This is abnormal. This is not reflecting Western traditions or values. Those of us who live in the West or know the West, and my whole life since 1948 has been a journey between the US and Canada and Europe and the Middle East. So we know that there are decent people in all of these lands, including in Israel and in Europe and everywhere. Why are they not acting? This is the big question, and they will have to, at one point, the Western politicians will have to, at one point, come clean and admit what has been going on. It's unlikely they'll do that soon, but this is the real turning point that will come. Trump is a momentary blip in this. We don't know if he's going to make significant changes. He hints at some of them, but then he keeps assisting the genocide. So we can't rely on him. We have to rely on popular action, mobilization, protest, boycotts, marches, the massive amounts of disruptions taking place across at least the North America, which I'm familiar with. Almost any event, now college commencement speeches, annual reports of corporations, people stand up and raise Gaza and raise Palestine and raise accomplices in genocide. So this is an unprecedented situation where 75% of the populations in Europe and North America are for a just peace for both Israelis and Palestinians, ending the genocide, truce, exchange of prisoners and hostages, ending the famine. There's a massive popular majority for this all over the world, but the political leaderships are not listening to it, and that's the puzzle that we have to resolve.
Rami Khouri, thank you so much indeed. Really appreciate it.